If I could remotely shut down your car right now, would your insurance pay? Think about it. You're parked in your garage. You press the start button. Nothing happens. The dashboard lights up, but the car doesn't respond. Instead of the engine sound, a cold message appears on the screen. System temporarily unavailable. You grab your cell phone. You call the insurance company, and you hear something you never imagined hearing. Sir, this is not covered by your policy. Pause. Most people over 35 grew up believing that car insurance means total protection. Collision, theft, fire. It's always been that way. You pay every month for peace of mind. But there's a silent change happening, and almost no one is talking about it. Cars have ceased to be just mechanical machines. They become computers on wheels. And that has completely changed the game. Today, your vehicle may be collecting data, sending information, receiving remote commands and invisible updates. It may be learning your habits. It may be recording your routine. It may be being analyzed by algorithms. And here's the most disturbing point. Much of this is not covered by traditional insurance. Today, I'm going to reveal 5 risks of your connected car that normal insurance simply doesn't cover. And the 5th one could leave you with a total loss. Let's go back a few years. When you bought your first car, what worried you most? Theft, accident, broken glass, maybe a flood, all physical, tangible, visible. Insurance was created for that. The structure of policies was designed to cover material damage, external events, real impacts. But today, what's inside your car is worth as much as the bodywork. Software, sensors, connectivity, intelligence systems, remote updates. Your modern car may have more lines of code than a commercial airplane from decades ago. And here's the question almost no one asks. If the problem is digital, who pays? Imagine a software error causes a failure in the assistance system. Imagine a smart sensor generates unexpected behavior. Imagine a remote update changes how your car works. There was no accident. There was no theft. There was no fire. But there was damage. You believe you're protected because you've been paying for insurance for years. This creates a psychological sense of automatic security. But technology has evolved faster than contracts. And this gap is where the risk lies. Microhook. And now, let's talk about the first real risk, something that already happens in companies and can affect your car. Now I need you to pay close attention to this. Your car knows what time you leave home, which route you take every day, if you accelerate frequently, if you brake suddenly, if you drive at night, how long it sits parked in your garage. It knows where you live, where you work, where your children study. And no, this isn't theory. Connected cars record driving data to improve user experience, optimize performance, increase safety. Sound positive, but here's the question almost no one asks. Where does this data go? It can be stored on servers. It can be analyzed by algorithms. It can be shared within the brand's digital ecosystem. Now, let's get to a sensitive point. Imagine that your driving pattern is automatically classified as a higher risk profile. Frequent hard braking, constant use at night, region considered statistically dangerous. Nothing illegal, nothing absurd, but statistically, you become a number. And numbers are used to calculate risk, and risk defines price. Micro pause. Have you noticed that in recent years, insurance has become more personalized? Now, think. What if part of this personalization comes from data collected by the vehicle itself? What if your behavior is being used to recalculate your future value? And here's the point that bothers me. You may have authorized this without realizing it. Remember when you bought your car? Tablet at the dealership, digital contract, extensive terms, I agree button, who reads dozens of technical pages. You trust them, you sign, you drive away happy with your new car. But there might be clauses about collection of usage data, sharing with technology partners, monitoring for service improvement. Nothing illegal, but highly strategic. Now imagine that this data feeds predictive models. And imagine that, in the future, when you renew your insurance, you receive a higher premium. Without a clear explanation, without a recent accident, without a claim, just a technical adjustment. Question: could you prove that you were impacted by algorithmic analysis? Probably not, because this happens behind the scenes. And your traditional insurance doesn't cover increases caused by data intelligence. It only covers when something physical happens. And that brings us to the next risk, one that goes beyond money. Now we're talking about your family's safety. Remember when you bought your car? Tablet at the dealership, digital contract, extensive terms, I agree button, who reads dozens of technical pages. You trust them, you sign, you drive away happy with your new car. But there might be clauses about collection of usage data, sharing with technology partners, monitoring for service improvement. Nothing illegal, but highly strategic. Now imagine that this data feeds predictive models. And imagine that, in the future, when you renew your insurance, you receive a higher premium. Without a clear explanation, without a recent accident, without a claim, just a technical adjustment. Question: could you prove that you were impacted by algorithmic analysis? Probably not, because this happens behind the scenes. And your traditional insurance doesn't cover increases caused by data intelligence. It only covers when something physical happens. And that brings us to the next risk, one that goes beyond money. Now we're talking about your family's safety. So far we've talked about money. Now let's talk about something more delicate. Security. Your connected car stores frequent destinations. Home, work, children's school, parents' house, gym. It learns patterns. Monday to Friday, 7:12 a.m., leaving the garage. 6:47 p.m., returning. Saturday, grocery shopping. Sunday, family visit. Now imagine this information leaks. We're not talking about someone physically following you. We're talking about digital access. If there's a security breach, a system vulnerability, improper sharing, your routine can become predictable to third parties. And predictability is vulnerability. Think about it. If someone knows your car sits idle for 5 days because you're traveling, if someone knows exactly when your garage is empty, if someone knows your family's regular routes, the risk ceases to be digital. It becomes physical. Direct question: does your insurance cover routine data breaches? Does it cover damages resulting from the exposure of your habits? Does it cover losses caused by the misuse of this information? Most of the time, no. Because this isn't a collision. It isn't a fire. It isn't traditional theft. It's a new category of risk. And it didn't exist when insurance models were created. But now we're going into even more uncomfortable territory. If you've made it this far, you're already among the few who watched until the end. So do the following. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment, I made it to the end below. I want to see how many people actually made it this far. And now click on the next video that appeared on the screen, because it's even more amazing than this one.